I want to extend a very warm welcome to Bozeman, my hometown, as well as my alma mater here, Montana State University, for the very first biannual Montana High-Tech Jobs Summit. Bozeman's been home for many, many years. This is where I started kindergarten at Longfellow School and decided it was such a great place. Why leave? And went to Bozeman High and then graduated from Montana State in 1984. We have many people to thank today. I'd like to start by thanking the Bipartisan Policy Center, the Montana State University Alumni Foundation, as well as all of our amazing co-sponsors. We'll be talking about more of them during the day for their support and work to make this summit a reality. I'd like to thank our great panelists. We have 40 between our panelists and our keynote speakers here today. We truly have leaders in this country and leading the world in technology with us here in Bozeman for the day. I appreciate you all making it a priority to join us this summit and to share your insights. I want to thank Montana PBS for providing the support for live streaming this event. And I especially want to thank President Wadag Cruzado and Montana State University to allow us to host the summit here on the MSU campus. I also want to recognize a special guest in attendance today, and that is the British Consulate General from San Francisco, Priya Guha. Priya, we're very glad to have you today. Welcome to Montana. And I also appreciate the interest that you are taking in the importance of technology, not only to Montana and to the United States, but to our global economy as well. The first biannual Montana High-Tech Jobs Summit is a very unique opportunity to provide and bring together the nation's tech leaders and explore ways to create more good-paying Montana jobs. That's the bottom line. That is the goal here, is to keep more of these Montana kids. I'll tell you my story later on today. Somebody who graduated with an engineering degree but had to leave the state because the jobs weren't here. We've got a great slate of speakers. Let me give you a brief overview of the speakers we're going to hear today, as well as our panelists. We're going to hear remarks today from Craig Barrett, Dr. Craig Barrett, the former CEO and chairman of Intel. We've all heard of Moore's Law. Well, Dr. Barrett worked alongside Gordon Moore, one of the CEOs of Intel, and then Dr. Barrett rose from a manager all the way to the top of the Intel Corporation. We're grateful to have Dr. Barrett here. He also has a ranch in the Bitterroot. We're here from Matt Rose, the CEO of Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railway. We talk about connectivity. There's internet connectivity, which is part of the overall infrastructure that we need here in Montana to stay connected to this global economy. And what Matt does for us here at the rail industry is another example of that. We're going to hear from Leif Olson, the Senior Vice President of Cloud Operations for Oracle. We've all heard about what Oracle is doing here in Bozeman. It's a real honor to have really their top guy in the cloud, Leif Olson, here from Oracle. Dr. Dava Newman, she's a Montana native, and the new Deputy Administrator of NASA. Dava came out to Montana. We'll talk more about her experiences in Montana, what she's doing here. Very, very proud of her work at NASA and as a native Montana. We're going to hear from 2 FCC commissioners. There's only 5 in the United States. They have incredible amount of influence and power, frankly, as they regulate the telecommunications industry. We have 40% of the FCC with us here today in Bozeman. Doug Burgum. Doug was the former CEO and chairman of Great Plains Software, an amazing story, a startup in North Dakota, and you're going to hear more about that, acquired by Microsoft. Many of you have used Great Plains Software, still do today, and now co-founder and partner of Arthur Ventures and chairman of the Kilburn Group. We're going to hear from Mike Gogan, the managing partner at Sequoia Capital. Whether you've heard of Sequoia Capital or not, I know you've heard of Apple, Google, YouTube, LinkedIn. They were original investors in some of these companies. If you saw the movie Forrest Gump, remember that Apple logo? Well, this is the real deal here with Sequoia. And we're grateful to have Mike Gogan here. Spends a lot of time in Whitefish, is giving back to the community there and across Montana. Pleasure when you get to hear Mike. And then we're going to hear from Will Lansing, the CEO of FICO. We all have a FICO score. And you're going to hear from the CEO. So if you need to improve your FICO score, Will be here afterwards for private one-on-one conversations. But Will also served on our board of directors at Right Now Technologies from the very, very early days, and was one of the steady hands of influence in guiding our company as we grew it here in Bozeman. Our panelists will explore issues of critical importance to our technology sector. We're going to talk about cybersecurity. We're going to talk about our economy. We're going to hear how technology is removing geography as a constraint for Montana businesses, how companies are adopting innovative cybersecurity practices to keep consumers' information safe. They say there's two kinds of companies today: those that have been hacked and those that know they've been hacked. And we're going to talk about cyber today, a very, very important issue. We're going to talk about the importance of maintaining and advancing our technology infrastructure in this important global economy, and the factors that affect startup companies' ability to grow, to attract investment, and important to create jobs. You're going to find a very full agenda, as well as more information, extensive bios about all of our amazing speakers and panelists in your summit programs. And please feel free to tweet. This is not a tweet-free zone. We are big proponents of social media. You can tweet, you can Instagram. If you don't know what that means, find a 12-year-old here and they'll tell you what that means. Or you can post on the social network of your choice about this year's summit. The hashtag for today's event is MT High Tech Jobs, MT High Tech Jobs. The summit's on Twitter at MT High Tech Jobs. We're also on Facebook and Instagram at Montana High Tech Jobs Summit. So thank you for joining us here today. This is going to be a great event. We're going to kick it off now with Dr. Wadad Cruzado, the president of Montana State University. It is certainly an honor for me, a Bobcat, to welcome Dr. Wadad Cruzado to the first biannual Montana High Tech Job Summit. I think it's so important this event's being held here on the MSU campus. I am personally thankful for her support for this summit, how she opened up her home last night to 70 of her best friends. We showed up on a Sunday evening with Dr. Cruzado, and that just shows what she is all about in terms of relationship and understanding that it's about spending time in her home, off campus there just south of the university, where we had a wonderful dinner, and for hosting this summit. Dr. Cruzado took office at Montana State University's president in 2010. MSU has a strong mission of education, of research, of public outreach, which President Cruzado has helped forward. I'm thankful as a Bobcat dad. I'm a ChemE from 1984. Annie graduated from here in 2013 with a degree in elementary education, and our son Michael is a junior studying mechanical engineering here as well. So I also believe so much in MSU that not only the fact that I got my degree here, but I have two kids as well. For those Grizzlies out there, just in terms of bipartisanship this morning, my father is a proud graduate of the University of Montana, to keep the Grizzlies here in your seats. Dr. Cruzado has done tremendous work leading the university and ensuring that Montana State provides students with not only a top-notch education, but remains a source of world-class research for years to come. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Cruzado as she provides an update on what's going on here at Montana State University. Dr. Cruzado.
Thank you, Senator Daines, for your kind words. And I apologize, I have laryngitis this morning. Senator Daines, it's always a pleasure to be introduced by a Montana State University College of Engineering graduate who has done well. Thank you, Senator, for bringing this innovative summit to our campus and for the opportunity to come before you this morning. So, it is with a profound sense of pleasure that I welcome all of you to your university, Montana State. People ask me, why do you say your university? And the reason is very clear. I have a passion for our history as a land-grant university, and for good reason. We at Montana State are one of a select group of institutions of higher learning created by the Morrill Act of 1862, a congressional bill which established one public university in each state and territory of the Union, with the purpose of educating the sons and daughters of the working families of America. This far-sighted legislation was passed in the middle of the Civil War and constitutes a testament to what is possible when we believe in bold ideas. It illustrates what happens when, rather than being constrained by difficult circumstances, we envision a better and brighter future, and when we place our hopes in educating the future generations of America and the world. President Lincoln signed the Morrill Act on July 2, 1862, and since then, these universities have had as their main objectives agriculture, the mechanical arts or engineering, and education in, quote, the several pursuits and professions of life. Thanks to this compelling vision, land-grant universities have helped strengthen the middle class in our country and have built the strongest democracy in the globe. Interestingly, for our purposes this morning, the birth of land-grant universities was also intimately tied to the Industrial Revolution. Thanks to the wonders of the steam engine and the invention of new equipment, rudimentary practices were abandoned in favor of the machinery that constructed roads and bridges and cultivated the land in a new era. The rest, we can say, is history. Two additional acts of Congress were instrumental to the land-grant universities, the Hatch Act and the Smith-Lever Act. The Hatch Act of 1887 underlined the importance of research. In other words, not only were these new colleges and universities asked to teach with excellence, but we were called to be the innovators, the ones who invent the technologies, who write the textbooks, who replace repetition and guessing with creativity and innovation. Finally, Congress gave us the Smith-Lever Act of 1914, ensuring that the discoveries in the labs and in the fields of our universities were used in every corner and community of our country. In fact, just a few years ago, Montana State University was recognized by the Carnegie Foundation for our innovative work in extension and community engagement. These three acts of Congress, Morrill, Hatch, and Smith-Lever, form what we call the three-part mission of land-grant universities: teaching, research, and extension service. Now you see why the job of our elected officials in Congress is so vital, and why we feel so proud to have a Bobcat representing the aspirations of all Montanans. Thank you for your service, Senator. Since our founding on February 16, 1893, Montana State has been linked to developing and disseminating technology in the Big Sky State. For 122 years, your university has been dedicated to improving the lives of all Montanans through education, developing innovative solutions, and promoting jobs and prosperity for all. Today, your university is stronger than ever before. Since 2010, our student enrollment has grown 13%. We are the largest, fastest growing university in Montana. And in a few weeks, when our fall enrollment numbers are released, we expect to set another enrollment record that will include the largest freshman class in the institution's history, roughly 3,000. Not only is Montana State attracting record amounts of students, these students are of record quality as well. Last fall, the test scores and grade point averages of our incoming students were the highest recorded in 25 years. Of the state of Montana's best and brightest scholarships, a consistent 65% come to Montana State as their university of choice. And we are not the only ones to notice. The website publicuniversityhonors.com noted that Montana State is one of a handful of universities this year to produce 2 Truman Scholarships given to college juniors with demonstrated leadership potential and commitment to public service. In fact, in the last 5 years, Montana State has produced 2 Rhodes Scholars, 1 Gates Cambridge Scholar, 1 Marshall Scholar, 1 Newman Award, 16 National Science Foundation Graduate Research Scholars, 3 Udall Scholars, 5 Warren Award grantees, 9 Fulbright Scholars, and 13 Goldwater Scholars. Whew. Let me emphasize that the Goldwater Scholarships is the nation's top recognition for undergraduate study in math, natural sciences, and engineering. Montana State has produced 64 Goldwater Scholars, and it is tied for 8th in the nation, just above Yale University. Students' exemplary performance happens in every corner of this university. Montana State has the highest student retention rate in the state, as well as the highest graduation rate. In the case of our student athletes, their 6-year graduation rate is over 30% higher than the rest of the student population. And to make it more meaningful, let me share this piece of information. The national average for student athletes enrolled in STEM-related fields is 18%. At Montana State University, it is 36%. So truly, our students are winning in the field, on the court, in the classroom, and in life. Thanks to the vibrant student enrollment growth, we have been making some much-needed investments in our facilities. In the last 5 years, we have renovated Hapner and Langford, our 50-plus-year residence halls. 2 years ago, we inaugurated Gallatin Residence Hall. And as we speak, we are on time and on budget for next fall's opening of Yellowstone Hall, our first new freshman residence in over half a century. We always say that our students today were still using the same furniture as their grandparents. And what about the renovation of our 60-year-old Miller Dining? I have heard students refer to it as Chez Miller. All of these projects have been funded by student fees and no state dollars have been used. As students have shown a vote of confidence in Montana State University by arriving and excelling in record numbers, so too have our alumni shown a vote of confidence by supporting their university in unprecedented ways. I would like to highlight a few transformational gifts this morning. The first is $25 million gift from Jake Japs, class of 1952, and founder and CEO of American Furniture Warehouse in Colorado. Jake's gift allowed us to construct Japs Hall, which many of you visited last night at the reception. Through Jake's vision, the architecture of space is inspiring an architecture of new ideas. Less than 2 weeks ago, we learned that the new home of the Jake Japs College of Business and Entrepreneurship at Montana State University took first place in the higher education/research category in the regional Best Project Awards of the Engineering News Records, a prominent magazine focused on the construction industry. If you have not met Jake, he will be on one of the panels this afternoon. Let's share a round of applause for this outstanding alum of Montana State. The second transformative gift was from Norm Asbjornsen, class of 1960 and CEO of Aon, a leading commercial HVAC manufacturer. Norm has pledged $50 million toward the construction of a new College of Engineering building to be named the Norm Asbjornsen Innovation Center. This building will transform how engineering is learned. It will create spaces for students from all other disciplines to collaborate with engineering majors in creating the future. Norm was not able to join us this morning, but he knows we are so thankful. Norm and Jake represent two of the best examples of the talent that a land-grant university can foster. From humble Montana origins, they have become leaders in their industry, and they have never forgotten their alma mater. Thank you for your generosity. And I have good news for our audience this morning. You do not need to be a graduate of Montana State University to show your pride and commitment. Earlier this year, our local entrepreneurs, Greg and Susan Gianforte, gave $1 million to our College of Engineering and Computer Science department through their Gianforte Family Foundation to help graduate greater numbers of computer science majors. Can we have a round of applause for Greg and Susan? As you can see, students, alumni, and benefactors see that Montana State University has what it takes to help them succeed. And there is another important group that deserves to be mentioned this morning, our faculty. Thanks to the hard work of our faculty members, our university has been and continues to be the state's largest, most productive research enterprise, conducting more than $100 million in research annually. Montana State is one of only 108 universities in the nation, out of more than 4,500, that is ranked as a very high research institution by the Carnegie Foundation. We are the only university in the state of Montana to enjoy that designation, and the only one in Idaho, Wyoming, North Dakota, and South Dakota. Additionally, for the second year in a row, Montana State University has been placed among the world's top 750 universities for its scientific impact and collaboration by the CWTS Leiden ranking. It is one of only 158 U.S. universities to be ranked, and the only one in Montana. Thanks to the innovation and discovery of our faculty, Montana State has been able to grant 264 technology licenses, 78 with Montana companies, to the private sector. These licenses have helped in the birth of more than 50 high-tech companies in the past 15 years. For this audience, I want you to know, our faculty want to work with you. They want to be your partner in helping grow new ideas, in helping our students get real-world, hands-on experience that will benefit them as students and as your employees. We have a campaign at Montana State University, Hire a Bobcat. There are no ivory towers at Montana State University. There are only open doors, and students, faculty, and alumni willing to roll up their sleeves and work hard in a good Montana manner. Tomorrow, in these very renovated ballrooms, we will celebrate the 20th anniversary of Montana State's Optical Technology Center, or OPTEC, which has served as a place where students, faculty, and members of the optics, photonics, and laser industry meet, share ideas, and collaborate. There are now more than 30 optics-related companies in the Gallatin Valley, 15 of which have been started by our graduates. This sector has become large enough that it formed the Montana Photonics Industry Alliance. The alliance members employ more than 500 people in the Gallatin Valley. We're proud to say that Bozeman is now home to twice the number of optic companies per capita as Tucson, Arizona, which is widely regarded as the nation's center of the optical industry. A more recent collaboration between Montana State and industry is our software factory, where our computer science students collaborate with a local technology company to solve real-world problems. Many thanks to Dennis Dixon, president of Zood Enterprises, you will hear from shortly, for his company's participation in the inauguration of this project. Thank you. Thank you, Daines. I was asked today to speak on the state of the university. I've shared humbly with you numbers and inspirational stories, and I would like to conclude by sharing with you some of the people who make this university great and who stand ready to work with you. I will ask them to stand up so that you can locate them and start the conversation with them. First, I would like to introduce Dr. Renee Rejo-Pera, our Vice President of Research and Economic Development. To tell you the truth, we stole Renee from Stanford, where she cemented her career as one of the world's preeminent stem cell researchers. Newsweek magazine named her one of the 20 most influential women in America, and now she's inspiring our research faculty and students. Renee, will you please stand up and remain standing? Part of Renee's Office of Research and Economic Development is the Technology Transfer Office, where university discoveries are moved into the private sector for greater benefit and commercialization. With us today is Becky Mahurin, Director of Technology Transfer. Thank you, Becky. Integral to any research, stay standing so that people know where you are. Integral to any research university is a robust information technology infrastructure. With us today is Jerry Sheehan, Chief Information Officer, who just recently figured out how to increase Montana State's network bandwidth by tenfold, while at the same time saving $100,000 per year. Nowhere is our student enrollment growth more evident than in our College of Engineering, which has registered, I skipped one. I have with us here today Susan Wolf, our Dean and CEO of our Great Falls College at MSU, our wonderful two-year institution, which is so vibrant in building our workforce development. Speaking of which, nowhere is our student enrollment growth more evident than in our College of Engineering, which has registered an 80% increase in 7 years, including record numbers of female students and faculty members. Will the Dean of the College of Engineering, Brett Gunnick, please stand and remain standing? In addition to our land-grant mission of teaching and research, we also have a mission of outreach to the citizens and businesses of Montana. One way we do this is through the Montana Manufacturing Extension Center. MMEC just launched the Export Tech program in partnership with FedEx, and many thanks to Jay Carlson, Managing Director for FedEx Air Operations Technology, who is with us today. Export Tech is the only national program that helps companies develop an export plan through an intense, hands-on 9-week course. Will Patty Fleming, MMEC Director, and Associate Director Jenny West please stand and remain standing? Montana State is promoting entrepreneurship throughout our campus, and our Blackstone Launchpad is connecting students with mentors to bring their business concepts to market. Recently, our Blackstone Launchpad helped an alumna and her husband, Michelle and Matt Hertel, with their desktop milling machine, the Pocket NC. The Hertels set out to raise $75,000 through a Kickstarter campaign and ended up with raising $355,000 in investment. The Assistant Director of the Blackstone Launchpad is here today. Audrey Wooding, would you please stand? See, ladies and gentlemen, these are some of our people who are looking forward to helping you, and for standing up, I think they deserve an enthusiastic applause. As you can see, Montana State University is committed to help grow the state and the nation's economy. We are your partner. We are your resource. These doors of blue and gold are open to you. In closing, Montana State University has what it takes to move forward with big ideas and bold adventures. I think I can summarize it best with these two last slides of another successful project. This is how our Gold Rush Day looked like 5 years ago. And this is how it looks now. Go Cats. Thank you all, and thank you, Senator Daines. Enjoy your summer summit today.